Boston Bruins lose to the horrible Philadelphia Flyers. This game started off good, but it ultimately ended terrible. Came on, I needed to discuss this. I needed to do a live stream after this game because this is simply just getting ridiculous. The fact that we're not scoring, the fact that we're coming out here, penalties, that's fine now. Sure, that's perfect, but right now, when we're getting into this game, we're getting power plays. We're not taking any shots on those power plays. And ultimately coming down and losing 2-0, with the only goal being such an unfortunate one going through the 5-hole of Joonas Korpisalo. This was a bad game. This was a really, really bad game. I see, like, a lot of you guys have the exact same reaction, I think. That's the consensus reaction to this. Time for a coaching change. It's seeming to be that way. It really is seeming to be that way. And I do have a screenshot here. No, I don't. Do I? No, I don't. I thought I had one, but there's someone tweeted out. Oh, I'm sorry about that. I seen someone tweet out that Jim Montgomery's enthusiasm and effort into this game was the worst we've seen. And I completely agree with that. I've been pretty good on Jim Montgomery. I've been saying that give him time, but it hasn't been getting any better at all. It has been horrible. Jim Montgomery does have an expiration date, and that date is a lot sooner than probably a lot of people are thinking at this point. You know, I understand changing up the lines as well in this game after that first period. The first period was good. Goaltending was great. Going into the second to third period, I don't know if I'd change Brazeau. That line was fine. That was okay. Getting moved to the first power play, but moving down to the third line, then moving Kastlik up. A lot of just questionable decisions to make in the midst of a game. It's also very difficult to watch the Bruins play. They have no break of consistency, no bland, dull hockey. The defensive turnover is painful. Exactly. And I know this is a whole different scenario, but the turnover from McAvoy at the end of the game to get that empty net goal, that was horrible. It's sad to watch. It's pitiful to watch these games. We got to be honest. And I hate to say it, obviously, because growing up on hockey, watching hockey, you want to watch every game, but right now it is so hard to sit down and watch and enjoy a Boston Bruins game when you're just sitting down and watching it. Something's going to go wrong. There were so many opportunities the Bruins had tonight, but the no shots of the power play. That's one thing that is just, one thing on top of the numerous other things that we've seen in this game that have really just made me lose my mind watching this game. It is early, Saab, but, if they continue this way for very much longer, it won't be. And I know a lot of people are saying you got to give them time. It's still only early on in the season, but if you're starting off this slow and then you start to get hot afterwards, you're already 20 games down with the losses they had at the beginning of the season. It's a tough situation to go in, but don't blame management, don't blame coaches. These players can't even get complete a pass till power play. That is true. It's not just management. It's not just the players. It's not just the staff. It is a mixture of everything, but you can certainly pinpoint certain occasions when someone may be lacking in their role, whether that be from the players, whether that be Jim Montgomery, whether that be the power play. There are just so many options that need to be fixed going into this. And obviously the goal Sam Harrison just played very, very good this game as well. You got to give that to him. The Bruins weren't putting up too many great scoring opportunities. Yeah, they were getting some shots. They were playing well for the most part, but the shots they were getting, none of them were really quality chances. And Jim Montgomery's not giving the line. Example here tonight, Jim Montgomery's not giving the lines that he had made tonight, which were repeated from last game, which worked out well. He wasn't giving them time to gel, to work together. We've seen Justin Brazeau on that second line. Played 2 periods there, then got moved, but got put in the first power play. You're changing so many things. And I understand taking Zacha off the power play. Mason Lohrei should soon be getting on that power play if it was my opinion, but there are a lot of different opportunities that the Bruins need to change and need to do. A poor forecheck as well. Yeah, there's no there's no energy. There's no drive. There's no want. They don't seem like they want to win. It just seems like such lazy hockey for 45, 40 minutes of this game, 50 minutes. Again, you can't keep changing the lines every game. You can't. That just don't work. It don't work that way. I understand wanting to find something that works, but to find something that works, you nearly need to see like 2 to 3 games, of that being able to stick together to be able to see if it works for sure. You know, someone could have a bad game. There could be very good defense, whatnot, from the opponents or whoever they're playing. And that line won't play good for one game, but could play good for 2 other ones. But they're not getting the opportunity to try that. Yeah, Morgan Geekie sucks. Let's just be honest. You know, I've seen that a few times here in the chat. Morgan Geekie is really bad. Yeah, but I'll pull. I got a few screenshots here as well. So I got for you like stuff from Ty Anderson, a few of those beat reporters. But I feel like the Bruins have tried every possible in-house on-roster combination at this point. This is what he put up at the end of the game, and I completely agree. You know, they've tried Max Jones, they've tried Riley Tufte, who ultimately sent down now. They've tried everybody on this lineup right now in different positions. You're not going to move Pastrnak down to the 4th line. You're not moving the 4th line up to the 1st. Poitras is playing well, about the only one, but there needs to be another move made. Whether that is Tyler Johnson, like we've been mentioning for, what is it, a week, 2 weeks now? Whether it's Tyler Johnson, whether it's someone from the AHL from Providence, something needs to be done. There's only so much the Bruins can actually do with this roster. Yeah, and even if you bring up Lysell or Merkulov into the top 9 for a few games just to see what happens, that's exactly right. That's exactly, you know, what the Bruins need to do. Like, it's just such a disappointing thing to go out and watch. It really is. You know, I always like reporting on these videos, going out, saying a nice win, good moves, but I haven't been able to. Like, the Bruins are just playing so bad that it's to a point where we're just talking about what needs to be fixed, and it is very, very tough to try and do that since I ain't a coach. I'm here watching the games just like all of you guys. Zadorov is a very, very hit-or-miss player, and it's been very much missed so far this season, but I don't want to count him out too much just yet. I still think that there are many opportunities where he will be good. The penalties is one thing that's been cleaned up, which I'm okay with. That's very, very good, but it's something that needs to be worked on. That's for sure. I got another one here from Scott McLaughlin as well. This is what I was talking about earlier. Power plays. 0 shots on goal from the last 2 power plays, the last 2 of the game. However, they probably had about 1 minute and 30 seconds time on attack during these power plays. You have 1 minute and 30 seconds. Well, I don't know if it's exactly right, but let's just call it 1 minute and 30 seconds time on attack. You're a man up. You're on a man advantage. You definitely, no shadow of a doubt, have a shooting lane at some point. I don't care if Jeremy Swayman or Jonas Korpisalo need to start shooting the puck. I need someone to get the puck on net on a power play. That's when you're shooting. You have 3 opportunities to get a goal on any, not just a power play, but anytime. The goalie's either going to save it, going to cover it, get a whistle, face off. The goalie's either going to get a rebound, going to go off to the corner, go out in front of the net, whatever, or it's going to go in. There are 3 opportunities on a shot to get a goal. You're not going to have, if you don't shoot, you're not going to have any opportunities to score. Yeah, OG, you know, I've never thought I would say that having DeBrusk and Heinen leave is like ruining this team. I thought we got better, and I'm still confident the team got better on paper. But on the ice, surely not. Surely not. Thank you, Wes Baker. I appreciate it. You know, Nick, you're right. You're right exactly with that. You know, a piece or two is not going to change this. This isn't like basketball where you can have one player really lead a team. You need at least 10 players. You need 2 full lines to be able to go out and win some of these games. Not even just some of these games. To win a game, you need 2 full lines. you can't be doing that with, Tyler Johnson. That's not going to fix it. Fabian Lysell, Georgi Merkulov. That's not going to fix it. They need to have a new, I don't want to say rebuild because, I'm talking about in-season kind of activities, but you need to make a few moves that will work. Whether that is sparking a trade, whether that's trading someone, sending someone down on waivers to make them kind of be like, whoa, this is serious now. We're kind of risking stuff here, but our job ain't safe if we don't play well. Something like that. Something needs to be done. And I don't think a firing is too early. At this point, if this does continue, it's getting too late. And I know still a lot of people are saying that, it's still a lot of time, still early in the season, you still got to wait, but the longer you wait, the more games you have to win, which, is obvious, but the more games you're going to have to win in a shorter period of time, and just, you have no leeway of being able to lose a game here or there. So I really don't think it's too early at this point. I think it's just starting to be the right time, if they end up doing it. Yeah, set up a screen and fire the puck. It's easier said than done, but it's not even that hard to do, especially when you're on a power play. And you have a guy like Justin Brazeau, or any of these big forwards that can get in front of the net, set up a screen, and go for the rebound off the screen, anything like that. Anything like that. Someone mentioned earlier about we need an identity. Where's the heavy forechecking defensive lockdown because it isn't built from the back team? The team that wins 2-1. And yeah, this team has a lot of guys that will be able to use their size, use their speed, use their firepower, but none of it has been going at all in this game, the games that we've seen in the past. Even some of the games we've won, the Bruins still do not look very good. But it's just to a point now where we have to do something. Something has to change. We can't keep going with a roster change here or there, or a lineup change here or there, or no shots on the power play, or changing the power play every game, whether it's a new player, whether it's a trade, whether it's something. We need to do it. We should be in a better point. This team right now, this Boston Bruins team should be, a 75% win percentage. They should not be losing games to a team like Philadelphia. They can't be losing these games. Going out and beating the Maple Leafs, who are quite honestly as bad as us right now. But you can't win a game against the Leafs, then go out and lose against the Philadelphia Flyers. That's not how it works. Yeah, the Pastrnak one-timer, very predictable. He's not Ovechkin. Everybody knows Ovechkin's going to stand on top of the circle and not move. And it'll still go in, just because it's Alexander Ovechkin, obviously. But right now, it's just to a disappointing point. What coaches are out there? Let's see if we can have a look. Let's see, head coaching candidates. Oh, this is an old list. There are a few coaches that certainly could be in the mix here or there. I don't have any names right. Bruce Boudreau, Claude Julien. I don't know. Actually, I don't know if Claude Julien. I think he is, but Bruce Boudreau. There's a lot of names that are out there, but whether or not something like that happens, we don't know. We really don't know. I don't know if anything will change like this, if a coach will make the most impact right away, but Jay Woodcroft could be an interesting one, maybe. What do we think about Jay Woodcroft? He's been on a winning team with Edmonton. I know Connor McDavid was on that team as well, but that's just one of the options that was there. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, Gasoline Cowboy. An eighth of the season is done. That's an eighth of your games. That's quite a lot of losses. Just say, I know it's not all losses, but that is quite a bit of movement. That's quite a bit of issue. That's a bit of an issue if it does come down to it at the end of the season of games that you needed to win that ultimately you didn't. Good point, too, there. The Oilers last season, it's the exact same thing. Would be pretty convenient to go out and get their coach, but that goes to show that this season is not over yet. The season is not done. We still have some time, but it is getting close to the time where we need something done, and we need something done quick. Because looking at that game, looking against the Philadelphia Flyers, you can't be losing those games. I do have a quote here from Jim Montgomery post-game saying, "We're not doing enough to generate high-danger scoring chances, whether that's a will to go out to those areas or, not the right game plan." Jim Montgomery's been saying the same thing the past 5 losses. Every time, that's what he's saying. He's discussing that they're not getting the opportunities or they're not getting in the goal-scoring chances. I could tell you that. That's not... Everybody in this chat right now could tell us that. Could say that the Bruins are not doing good or having goal-scoring opportunities. Trevor Kunter's one of them. I think Riley Duran, John Farinacci. Those are really my 3 apart from the 2 big-named ones, but I think it might be time to make a move for one of those guys. Bring them up, try it out. Are they positioning a guy like Jay Leach to potentially take over? It could be, perhaps. Could be. I really don't know what they would choose to do. I don't think they would bring a coach in immediately. Maybe or maybe not. But, Jim Montgomery certainly seems to be, as I mentioned earlier, or not earlier, but in an earlier video, he seems to be losing the bench. He has not sent a message. Nobody is really, I don't want to say listening to him, because we can't really go full out and say that when we're not hearing what he's saying to the players, but it really don't seem like he's saying anything to these guys or anything is really getting across. But, he needs to send a message. That's a lot of you guys are saying that, and I completely agree. I'm curious to see what Jay Montgomery has to say after this game as well. Well, we've seen that first bit, but I need to hear more. I really need to hear more about what he's mentioning. What he's trying to get to this locker room. Because he's telling us stuff, but it's the same thing every game. I think next game on, I believe, Thursday, we are going to see a move to this team. I think we'll see a move to this team, whether that be Tyler Johnson, whether that be someone. Something has to be done. Something has to be made. Something has to change. And I don't know what that could be at this point. The Bruins are not a sub-500 team, but are certainly playing like one. Absolutely. The roster, the way this team looks, if you put this on paper and, as I'm sure all of us did, as much as I hate to say it, looked at this, I thought we were going to blow this league out of the water once again. But boy, was I wrong. Was I ever wrong? There's no other explanation for all these guys that had great seasons last year. They're just doing anything for 20 games. Yeah, you kind of can't look at last year's season at this point. And I guess looking at it now, Jake DeBrusk, Danton Heinen, 2 probably last season that you would look at. I kind of wanted to keep DeBrusk, but things had to happen. I understood that. He probably didn't really want to stay overly, but going for the names that probably looked or think they would be good seem to be not working out too well right now. They haven't played well, and then they got shut out by the Flyers. They're simply not a good team anymore. This year will not be the usual beat the Leafs in the playoffs year. But we'll be lucky if we make the playoffs. At this rate, if we keep going like this, and we keep running these games and going out, getting 4 or 5 power plays, having 2 shots combined, that's all you can do. That's, there's nothing you can do at that point. Let's go to screenshot number 3 here. So these were the lines that they started the third with. And we knew Jim Montgomery was at some point likely going to make a change. We kind of expected that, but Brazeau, Kaslik, and Geekie all swapped. Geekie got moved down. Absolutely correct. That's a player I would consider using, sending down, trading, and yeah, as right there put in the chat. Fire Montgomery, trade Geekie, absolutely. Poitras number 2 center. Coyle 3. Call up Lysell, Merkulov. Put McAvoy, Lindholm, Lowry on separate defensive pairs. Everything that you just said, I absolutely agree with. From 1 to 6, and I would even put it in that order. Yeah, we're kind of going off the way that last season ended. The kind of games where we didn't really play our best, but we still won. Those are the games that the Bruins are playing right now. But looking at the lineup here as well, Kaslik on the second line, I don't hate it, but I need to see consistency before I see anything that's actually going to make a change. And oh yeah, I knew it wasn't in order, but it that's the order I would put it in personally. Just from like, and honestly, you can put it in any order, but I think 1, 2, and 3 are exactly what needs to happen before we actually get into the thick of it. I am going to look at the hockey stat. I'll pull it up on the screen here as well. I'll put a screenshot up. And looking at this as well from this game, today's game, you know, Mark Kaslik, Cole Koepke, Trent Frederic, those are the guys you normally see at the top, which realistically, I'm happy to say that they are, but they can't be at the top. You need to have David Pastrnak, Nikita Zadorov, Matt Poitras, Pavel Zacha. These guys that have been on the team for quite a while, have been an impactful player on this team for quite a while. They need to be somewhat playable. You can't just have those guys be out there to have, just say you're having David Pastrnak on the ice. That won't do. And Carlo and Lindholm having the best games on defense, and the offense was Mason Lowry. In team offense, Mason Lowry. You can't be having that. I feel like I'm repeating myself, and I do apologize, but it's just so frustrating. And I know all of you guys are as well after this. And going into this game, too, I was thinking, the Philadelphia Flyers, we got to win this game. We have to win this game against the Philadelphia Flyers. Something has to be done. Something has to be done. Jim Montgomery's going to come out here, figure out a lineup, go into this one, stick with it, and it'll work. But none of those were correct. Yeah, Smoke Channel, it is a bit of a different, like, grading. It's a lot based on just kind of like, even if you're on the ice, you don't touch the puck. It's about like positioning and stuff too. So it is a bit more of that side. It's kind of like more of an in-depth analysis rather than just kind of like, I don't know the way to put it, like full offense or defense, just 1 or 2. So like, even though Trent Frederic was not the best on the offense, as you can see, the light blue was in the negative. The defense for him was not bad. Could have been better, but like, this is what I like to see. This is how you really show where the impact on the ice is coming from. I know you don't get much for Geeky, but if someone takes $2 million and you have 1 more cap flex, yeah, we need to do something with Geeky first. Whether that's on waivers, get someone to try and claim him, even though they probably won't. Yeah, that's exactly right. They just don't seem motivated to play. We've seen a good first 20 minutes, and after that, I was like, okay, we seem to be back. After coming out against the Maple Leafs, going to this game, those 80 minutes, good. Oh, sorry. But ultimately, it was just ridiculous. There we go. Yeah, there's a lot of things that can be changed. Whether that's Don Sweeney, if he makes a move, I'll kind of let him rest aside now. Give him that a bit of extra time, but we're not seeing any moves. We're not seeing anybody being called up. We're not seeing anybody being sent down. Nothing like that. And that's what Jim Montgomery can't even... That's not his job. That's Don Sweeney. So we need something. We need something. And it is frustrating. An interesting tidbit of something that could potentially affect the Bruins is Kevin Fiala is not dressed in LA tonight, scratched for missing a team meeting. Maybe there might be some trade talk going on if he's not good for the team there. Would be a good fit. I mean, we could take anybody at this point. Put me on the ice, I might do something. And going from game to game, so going from this game now until next game, you're looking at this, and then there's going to be no momentum going into this. There's going to be no momentum that the team can carry with them, knowing that they're not shooting on the power play, knowing that there's nothing going. They're not going to continue that and kind of ride a high. They can't be doing that because there's nothing to be excited about. There's nothing to take away from this game except the loss to go out and play with. Bring up the standings of shots taken and goals and on goal for last in this year. Where do I find that? I will pull it up if I know where it's to. I will not be able to find and search for that. On a slight positive note, Jonas Korpisalo played his best game of the season on I think it was like 12 days rest. That's something to be excited about. We can't have our goalies carry us into everything, but the fact that we can get away with something, and the amount of goals we probably could have had today would be something that we could have been excited about. But when you're not shooting in the power play, not scoring, and as I mentioned, the unfortunate, really easy goal, it does suck. Bruins shots on goal versus attempts, I guess. The Bruins have 292 shots. What? Oh, allowed. Whoops. Bruins shots on goal. Yeah, the first line's been bad. I hate to say it because there's flashes. There's very, very slim flashes. But nothing comes out of it. I like what you said there, Gasoline Cowboy. It's almost like the guys are confident in Korpisalo to the point where they don't think they have to do anything. That's pretty similar to what we've seen in a lot of games last year. And I know with Swayman and Ullmark, very different situation. But that's when the games the Bruins lost, that's what it felt like. And what it's felt like this year has been the exact same thing, except they haven't been able to do anything. They haven't been able to do anything with it, Even though you tell me, like, certain games, not every game at this point, but certain points, they're holding us in the game, but we can't rely on that every game now. Yeah, Marchand did play bad tonight, and so did Pastrnak, but Geeky's just been a running thing all season. I don't want to say that the Bruins, that Marchand and Pasta haven't been bad all season as well, but it's just Geeky is causing a lot of problems because they haven't found a spot for him to play on, and every single opportunity, it's been bad. Because, at some point you might even have to, but Pastrnak you just can't put on the second, third, or fourth line. He's too good. His ceiling is too high. And Marchand is someone who's going to get the lines going at any point, but hasn't been so far. But Geeky just don't seem to have a slot on this team right now. Game over is right. That's what it is. Okay, so I couldn't find those rankings on shots on goal versus shots, just shots in general, but they are 25th in shots per game and a 23rd in shooting percentage. So really goes to show that whether the offense is there or not, they're not shooting enough, and that was very evident tonight. It does seem like the players have given up on Montgomery. They don't want to play for him. That's a big thing as well. That it really seems like, Marchand there when he was defending Montgomery for that turnover and what he was saying about that. Marchand didn't just seem happy. He obviously Marchand is a professional. He knew that he deserved to get called out because that was just a horrible play if that were to end up as a goal. But he didn't seem to believe in Montgomery, if you know what I mean. Yeah, there's not enough chemistry because you can't make any when lines are going from you're making your first line, the fourth line, to the second and the third is the first. There's no way that you can get chemistry when you're playing with 5 different guys a night on one line. Prime example of that would be Brazeau tonight, starting on the second line, then moving down to the third, moving from power play 2 to power play 1. Like, yes, your role will be the same, especially for Brazeau, where he's so big. He's kind of a net front presence, big body. But if that were someone else who, may play on the point on power play 2, you may put him on the wing on the power play 1. Like, you don't have enough time in a game to get used to what you're doing and that kind of stuff. Yeah, Johnson ain't signing, Johnson is not saving this team if he is signed. And I hope he is, because I know he's good, and I fully believe in Tyler Johnson. I'm a big Tyler Johnson fan. But he's not going to individually change anything. He may be able to change a line. We have a fourth line. If we can continue, if he gets onto a line, slots in somewhere, and plays well, that may be the time that we get the second line going, and then it got to go from there, but it needs to be now. And Don Sweeney, I see a lot of you guys talking about Don Sweeney here as well. I think that's something that is going to be talked about, but I think it's going to be Jim Montgomery first. I think Jim Montgomery's role is dwindling with this team right now. Monty not only has no creativity, but he pushes the captain and calls out every player out there. Goes zero creative. Yeah, I said this in a video before as well, that he can't put on the skates and go out and play the game for the guys, but something has to be off with these guys trying, like, they're doing the same thing every game. Montgomery has to be telling them something. They haven't changed anything. And I don't know what else we could say from this. I absolutely agree that Montgomery's on the hot seat, yeah. But firing him, I'm still going to say not yet, but it's coming very, very close. Very, very, very close. That's Elias not hearing his name means he's necessarily messing. Elias is kind of one of those guys that's... He's there. He's not making no mistakes, but he's not doing anything special. But you want to see him do more. I guess is a good way of trying to put it. And I do have a quote here from Jim Montgomery when asked about why they couldn't build off last Saturday's win over Toronto. He said, "It's a good question. It's a multitude of things. It seems like some guys are still fighting as far as the confidence, and they need to be smoother." Every single game, he is saying the exact same thing. But every single game. I don't understand why every time we're hearing this hit, everything, someone replied to this tweet, what? Like, I will screenshot it and pull this up as well, just so you guys can read it. And I want to get your opinion on this as well. Because this is ridiculous. I'll move over here as well. Jim Montgomery has said this after every single game. By Thanksgiving, you know what you have. If they're 500 or below, then you keep the coach. Then if you keep the coaches, everybody get. Yeah, that's a good timeline. That's a good timeline. I think. I don't know exactly what date American Thanksgiving is. I know it's sometime in late November. Is it basically a month from? Not a month from today, but a month or so from now. Smoke Channels, a $3 super chat. I appreciate it. The first super chat on the channel. I did want to pull up. Gotta use the graphic. I do very much appreciate that, Smoke Channels. Everybody give a thumbs up to Smoke Channels. I do appreciate that. I'd hype for Elias. Think he'll be much better in time. The whole team. Yeah. I don't want to point out anybody in specific either right now. It really is just the whole team. But there are certain players you can kind of like pick on. I shouldn't say pick on, but that are not playing up to their level. There we go. There we go. Thank you, Smoke Channels, once again. I do very much appreciate that. Your guys' support is everything. And I'm going to create a poll. I haven't done this here. I'm going to put up a poll, and I want you guys to answer in the chat. Do you guys want Jim Montgomery fired? Because now, also, this is not right now. This could be at any point. Whether this is or if you want him right now, of course, still vote. But if you want him right now, or at some point if this continues, let me know what you think. Gus, there are a few options. I don't know exactly right off the top of my head, but I know there's a few that could be a bit interesting. One that came to my mind when I was looking at them a little bit ago was I can't remember who it was. Oilers' old coach. Not Chris. Jay Woodcroft. That's one I think could be a bit interesting. Obviously got fired for pretty much the same reason last year as what's going on right now, but the coaching staff is something I think that's on the hot seat right now. Trading Pastrnak, I don't know about that. Pasta in any situation will be reliable when it comes down to it, but he just needs to play better. I completely understand. Montgomery, if this does continue, and I will say this for 100% certain, if this does continue for the next 5 games, without a win. Montgomery has to be gone by the end of that 5th game. No doubt. Absolute no doubt. And that's the thing, yeah. I wouldn't say right now, I wouldn't say after this game, but if it does continue, because I still need to see a move be made to be able to see if Jim Montgomery can do something with it. If he can do something with it, then that will be better. But I still don't know. Honestly, a lot more even than I thought. 57 to 43%. And I do completely understand, though, because still, this is not on just Jim Montgomery. This is not on just Don Sweeney. This is on the whole team, because nobody's playing up to their level right now. You know, I hate to say it as well, Fitness. The team is filled with quite a few third liners. It's definitely what it looks like. Now, some of these third liners are playing better than what they look like, and a lot of the top first line guys are playing like third liners, and that's the issue. And I really don't know what the Bruins have to do something. That's really what they have to do. And, you know, I do apologize for repeating it. I do. And I hate to say, I hate to repeat myself, but I got to get my point across. Another super chat from Scott Wood, $6.99. Montgomery has the team overachieved for 2 years. Going to take more than a half dozen games for me to want him gone. Thanks for the great content. Scott, I do very much appreciate it. More hearts in the chat for Scott, if you all will, please. I do appreciate it. But thank you, Scott, once again. You know, as I mentioned, all your guys' support is everything. And I see a lot of you guys talking about as well that this team is just too slow. It's too nonchalant. I absolutely agree. It's at a point where they can't catch up with teams. Like we know that today's NHL game is fast. It's very, very, very fast. And you know, I'm a fan of the big teams. I'm a fan of like the big old Boston Bruins. You know, that kind of style of hockey. But from what we're seeing, it just don't seem to work out anymore. And you can tell, like, a lot of these guys are getting burned. They're getting gassed. And it's going to continue with that until we see a big change. I don't know what it's going to be. Another super chat. Dan S. Once a coach loses the room, there's no saving. The coach has to go. I'm not 100%. That is the issue, but the clock is ticking for sure on Monty to turn this around. Dan, I absolutely agree with you. And once again, as I've mentioned, I do very much appreciate that. Another super chat. You guys are unbelievable. You know, we're all in the same boat here. We all know that this team is not playing well, is not going up to standards, and we're all kind of on the same page where it does come down to the team and the staff, and not just one or the other. And we all know time is ticking, and exactly as you said, Dan. Spam some more hearts for Dan as well, if you all will. I very much appreciated all of you guys. Of course, donations are not necessary at all, but they're very much appreciated. You guys are insane. I do appreciate it, Forrest. Thank you very much. You know, I'm loving it. I absolutely love it, but it's so hard to come out here and be excited about the Bruins when they're playing like this. And talking hockey has been my life. So talking with you guys about the Boston Bruins just makes it better, even if the Bruins are losing, because we know we're trying to discuss how to fix it and everything like that. It's I know we can't do anything personally, but it feels like we can, and that's making me feel a bit better about this. Yeah, I agree, TD. The way we're losing, I think, is a big part of it. That's what's really frustrating me, is the way we're losing. Not because of losing, because, we're going to lose a game here and there, of course. Now, a bit too many right now. Let's keep that in mind. But losing the way we are, and especially tonight, 2-0 to the Philadelphia Flyers. The Philadelphia Flyers are not a good team. The first goal, very unfortunate. Just a very unlucky, wide-open shot. Goes right between the 5-hole of Jonas Corposalo, and then the empty netter. But the Bruins have had so many opportunities to get a goal here. 2 power plays where you could have gotten 10 shots. For sure. Minimum 10 shots. And they take 0. It is just to a point where it's frustrating rather than anything else. That's very unlucky, Forrest. Very unlucky. You know, we need that's what we mean. We need the Bruins to get back to full go so we can start bragging once again to our friends and family that are fans of whether it be the Habs, Leafs, anybody. Because we're losing battles. We're losing family battles here too now, talking about the Bruins and how much we've been able to brag over the past few years. And that part I guess we can kind of deserve, but the Bruins need to fix this because their team is not as bad as it should be. And I know a lot of you guys have said that here as well. Still a very close poll. I'm very surprised by that, I got to say. Now, I don't disagree, though. You know, I don't disagree from yes or no. I think the pretty much consensus of what we're seeing here is that it got to be soon, but not yet. I can't watch past the turn the puck over, and he's painful to watch. Slightly better version of DeBrusk shows up 1 in 5 games. You're not wrong. You know, right now, you're not wrong at all. I hate to say it, but we haven't seen the pass that we want to see at all. Even though he's putting up some points, he's still not playing to the level that he needs to be. I do as well, Brendan. I still have hope in this team. And the team is too good to be able to, on paper, the team is too good on paper to be playing the way they are. I think it's just a matter of finding something that's wrong, whether it be the coaching staff, whether it be needing one extra player to bring into this locker room to kind of boost the momentum or boost the energy or something, or to get some more team chemistry going or something. It has to be something like that we just will click it in. The Bruins are playing soft, in the words of Jared Mayo. I agree. You know, the size that this team has, they need to be throwing a hit on every opportunity they can. They need to be using the body. They need to be, you know, taking away the angle. Something. Just don't let him into the zone. Something like that needs to be done. And I can't do anything about it, but I certainly wish I could. They're slower, but have moments when they are down 2-0 or 3-0, where all of a sudden they can win, race to the puck, and yeah, you know, it almost seems like they don't care about winning games, but they just don't want to be embarrassed. They're coming out, you know, if they go down, okay, but if they start to go down into territory where they'll be like the highlight or low light of the night, it almost seems like they're coming out and playing. It almost seems like they just don't want to play for Jim Montgomery at this point. I don't know if that's it. I don't want to say that's it because that might not be, and I don't want to say that, you know, that is the reason or whatnot, but it just, they don't seem like to care anymore. Hey, Christine, you know, I hope that's not the case, but if this does continue, that's the way I see it as well. Claude's phone number, if I had it, I would give him a call right now. Are we still live? Hello? Are we good? If you can hear me, let me know, please. I don't know if my internet just crashed or if it was my Chrome or... I still see the chat, so I think we're good. If we are, let me know, please. Okay, good. Good. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, my Chrome just died, so had to fix that up. But where was it to? Where is it to? Yes. Okay. Gary. The psychotic line scrambler, I completely agree with, and that's what we were talking about earlier in here in this game as well. Well, obviously the playoff too many men, but looking at the lines that we started off with compared to what we ended with, these are the examples I'm going to use right here. These are the ones that came into the third line with. Then we seen Brazeau get moved to the first power play. Like, there was not enough time to find out what works with your line mates. It's frustrating to see. You know, every game we can kind of almost expect Jim Montgomery to come out here and make a wild move for absolutely no reason. And then he just goes out and does it. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. I don't know what Tyler Johnson being waiting still is. You know, I agree he should have been signed by now. I thought as soon as Riley Tufte got sent down, that was the move. That was the one that was going to bring him in. That was what Tyler Johnson's introduction was going to be to this team. But turns out it wasn't. You know, I made a video about that too. I had made a video discussing that was going to be the case. We're hoping that's going to be the case. That's what it's going to be. But no, turns out it wasn't. If there was a way I could find out, and I think that if Jim Montgomery does get fired, we'll really find out what the players think of him. I think that's the time that we'll actually figure out and find out when we know really what it was about. Or what it was about, or if that was the case. And I know it's a different kind of situation with the Oilers last year, but when Jay Woodcroft left, he came in, Chris Knobloch came in, they didn't hate Jay Woodcroft. It was just an opportunity where the voice in the locker room it got too soft. It wasn't hitting. You know, the voice wasn't getting to those players. So maybe that's what we're seeing right now. Maybe that's the situation we're in. Maybe, you know, Jim Montgomery's discussions and ideas to move the lines around every single game is just starting to get to the players. And I'd be interesting to see as well what Lindholm would be like, maybe on a second line, maybe with, you know, another guy who can really get the offensive going other than Pastrnak. And I'm sure over the next few games we're going to see a change anyways because Jim Montgomery loves to do it, so maybe that's what it is. Bruce Cassidy is definitely one that, like, a lot of people would like, including me right now. I wouldn't hate it. Lauko also did score for Minnesota tonight. That's the case. The players the Bruins are losing just seem to be playing amazing as soon as they leave. Could that be a sign of Jim Montgomery as well? Perhaps. They need a tough guy to get in the mix and mix things up. Big check can change the whole game and get players going. I agree. You know, we have a lot of big guys, but none of them are really using their size. I think Brazeau really needs to get into the habit of laying hits. Going out there, throwing the body around, just doing something. I think that's what we need to see. That's what we need to do to finally find something that works. Just to get some energy going on a line. You know, as you mentioned, Christine, a big hit changes the momentum of a game immediately. And having just go Brazeau or Zadorov or anybody go out there, lay a massive hit. We've seen Marchand do it so many times in the past. Now, not too much in the recent seasons because of his age, of course, getting older, but there needs to be someone who goes out there and just does something. Something to set the momentum in the opposite direction. The Bruins need a harder coach, like Maurice type of coaching. I agree. Paul Maurice. I also don't hate Tortorella style of coaching. You know, that's what the Bruins need right now. And it does feel like that. It feels like an expansion team that has zero emotion, that really haven't attached to anything yet. That's a really good way of putting it, actually. The way we've seen, the fans in expansion teams are still there, but they don't seem to have that communication, that really partnership yet. That's what it seems like the Bruins are. Exactly that. That's very, very good point, actually. Yeah, and this is another screenshot I did have here of Zacha going to the top power play unit. That's something as well. Or Brazeau taking over the spot there for Zacha. And that's the thing as well. Brazeau is too slow to commit to hits, to go out and, I don't want to say try and run someone over, but figuratively try and go over and take someone out of the play. But it don't work for him. It just isn't at that point. He's not quick enough. He's not quick enough at all. Yeah, so the Bruins play the Hurricanes on Thursday night. That will be a big tell as well. Hurricanes are still a very talented team. I don't think they're too great this year. Oh, never mind. No, never mind. 6-2. That's going to be a big challenging game as well. Started off season 2-2, then went up to 6-2. We'll really see on Thursday what type of team Montgomery brings. Whether that's a new signing, whether that's some sort of move there, I don't know. It really is a resemblance of Edmonton last year. All we need now is to turn it around and go to the playoffs. I was heavy on re-signing DeBrusk, Ryan, and I didn't want to say it was a mistake initially because we really didn't see DeBrusk play too great in the regular season, but he was a playoff performer, to say the least. But he seems to be playing well right now in the regular season. And certainly the epitome of a player the Bruins could use on this team right now. I bet you anything the players will not show up Thursday and force me to make a move right after the game. Remember my words, bro. I'll keep that in mind. I do think that there is going to be a move by Thursday. There has to be. And if there isn't, I really don't understand why. I don't. The way Monty announces lineups in the locker room is so college, like Pete Carroll with the Pats. Professionals don't go in for, yeah. Montgomery's style of coaching is a bit different compared to what we've been able to see in recent years in the NHL. Montgomery was also handed a very, very good Bruins team. So now we're kind of seeing the point where he has to work that team and figure out where he wants to go with it. And where he's going with it is not the right direction. It's going into the floor. Yeah, the Oilers were in better shape last year. And the Bruins. Whatever one you're talking about. Both. But, yeah. I agree. Yeah, but seeming like we got all of our updates for the Bruins. I'm still looking on... that's what I'm looking over here. Well, I mean, this is where the chat is. But also looking to see what Jim Montgomery had to say if any other players are speaking out. But... it's really just the same thing we've been seeing from Montgomery after every single game. I agree, 10 shots. That hurt. It's going to be a very telling game against the Hurricanes. And, I don't know if the Bruins are even going to consider going into this game without a move, but if they do, it's going to be the same result. We're going to see a different lineup. We're going to see something like that, but I want to see a move to be able to see what Montgomery can do with the slightest different thing. The slightest. Just to see. Because he's working with what he got. Also, I'll give him that. He don't have much to work with everybody kind of playing very, very mid on this team, but giving him a new option could create a whole, chain of different moves that he could have the opportunity to make from the first line right down to the fourth. Yeah, it seems to be it for the Bruins for the night. They're not too many more updates, but really just at this point, some old full interviews and nothing really discussing this game, which sucks. I wanted to see it more, but I don't know. I don't know. Line 1, Zacha, Lindy, Pasta. Line 2, Marshy, Poitras, Coyle. Line 3, Freddie, Geeky. Used to playing center. Yeah, absolutely. Prezzo, Beecher, Kessler, Kepke. Oh, I don't mind that at all. I agree, Forrest. It's a prime example tonight against a horrible team that we've seen Korpisalo play his best game in quite some time, and you lose just because no offense. Smoke Channels, another super chat. Have a beer on me. Being so close to the cap for this play is rough. Browsers works if you get the puck on net. Power play hurts my soul. Swap someone. I completely agree. Thank you, sir, and I absolutely will. Everybody, spam some hearts in the chat once again for Smoke Channels. Second super chat, and I do very much appreciate it once again. Thank you. Yeah, you're right about Brazo as well there, too. That, you go in the power play, good in front of the net, but you need someone else to be shooting it because he can't go get his own rebound and whatnot, but they're working with something. They may be working with mud, but they're working with something. And yeah, okay. Before I finish this one off as well, I want to know. Edited, you brought up a very good point there that I remember I wanted to talk about earlier, but I forgot. Do you think that Poitras could potentially at some point make a first-line center appearance? It'll be a very interesting thing to kind of think about. I unfortunately do not have anybody to contact in the locker room. I wish I did. I would genuinely be curious. I would actually ask. I would ask the question. It's like, what's going on? Is there something with Montgomery? Is it something locker room? I'm genuinely curious, and I certainly wish I did. And I hope that something comes out soon. That we do see something like that and something revealing, I guess. But yeah, I'll probably be ending the stream here now in a few minutes. I kind of want to see if there's any more updates. I'm looking on Twitter. Okay, I'm keeping Twitter on the other screen as well, seeing if there's anything. But Montgomery seems to be saying the same thing. The players haven't seen anything from them yet, but I'll have another video or two, maybe two tomorrow, going over what we've seen today, kind of in the stream as well, going over some more players, what they had to say, if we have anything else coming up from news from Connor Ryan, Mike Sullivan, any of those guys, I'll be hitting you guys up. I'll let you know with that. But as we mentioned a few minutes ago, Thursday's game, a big one. Something that's going to be very revealing. Something that's going to tell us where this season is headed, I guess is a good way of putting it. But yeah. All right. I do appreciate all of you guys and all the super chats here in this stream. You guys have been insane. I very much appreciate it, and obviously not necessary at all. I just like being able to talk to you guys about the Bruins, our favorite team, just going on about it, watch what we're seeing. I know it does suck, but being able to talk about it, being able to break it down, seeing what's wrong with this team, I guess we can kind of go from there. And edit depression on Thursday. you're probably right, but I hope not. But all signs are pointing to me being live again Thursday after this game, no matter the result. I do want to see what we're having, what comes out of this, and what we're going to do, because we need to have another discussion about whatever's going to happen and what changes hopefully were made to get a win. But right now, I'm not too optimistic. I'm calling it L. But yeah, that's all I got. I do appreciate all of you guys. Be sure to hit the sub button if you haven't already. Get all of your Boston Bruins news. Going live. Going to try to go live after every game now, especially with what we're seeing, and until we see a change. I want to see what you guys think, see what's going on. But yeah, I will see you guys in a video tomorrow, but Thursday in person. Fire Monty now, great job, bro. TD, I'll keep your word. I'll be looking for it. I'll see if I get any information, I'll let you know. Be sure to tune into the next stream. I'll be seeing if I can get any info on it. But the odds aren't looking too good. But I do appreciate all of you guys. So I'll see you next stream. Be sure to hit the video tomorrow. See what we're gonna have, and if we have any more news, I'll be keeping you guys updated with everything. So I do appreciate all of you guys once again. Thanks for watching. See you later.